My name is Mr. Gurundoro. I want to introduce a new topic, what we call psychogeometry. Psychogeometry is not difficult; it's the easiest chapter in mathematics. So today, I just want to make life easier for you. So the only thing that you must do is to pay attention and to give me your ears. So this one is the topic psychogeometry that I'm going to introduce. I'm not going to go further. I just want to show you the lines and the other sectors that we normally do with when we are doing psychogeometry. So quickly back to the business. So this one is our circle, and firstly we have a point on the center of the circle. This point we call it a center because it's on the center, on the middle of the circle. We have a line passes through the center from circumference to circumference. So it means we have a line that passes through the center from point A to point B, is meaning is on the both side of the circle. So this line we call it a diameter. How do you know that is a diameter? It touches to circumference is passes through the center. That's why we call it a diameter. Right? We have a line from this point B is on the uh, circumference to the center. This line we call it radius. So radius is not passing through the center. It's only end at the center. It's not gonna go further. So from this side to this side, we call it a radius. And also from this side to this point, from this point to this point, we call it also a radius. So radius is touches from the circumference to the center from any angle. Either from here to this point is gonna be a radius. From here to this one is gonna be a radius. So it's only end to the center. That's why we call it a radius. So don't be confused if you see the other day I started to tell you about the radius from this point to this point. As long as is on the circumference to the center is a radius, right? We have another line from this point to this point. The whole circle we call it circumference. This whole circle we call it a circumference. So we have another line from this point of circumference to this point of circumference. This line is not passes through the center, so we call it a chord. So this line we know that is a chord. Is touches to the both side of the circumference of this or circle, and is not passes through the center. So it's gonna be from this side, from this point to this point, as long as it's not passing through the center. We call it a chord, right? We have another line. This is straight line. This straight line is only touches to the circumference. So we call it a tangent. Let me write in a bold letters. So we call it a tangent because it only touches to the circumference. That's why we call it a tangent, right? We have this party. We have this line from this point to this point. This short line, we call it arc, right? The whole circle, don't be confused. The whole circle is circumference, but only from this point to this point, this a short line, we call it arc, right? And also we have this area, that's shaded area. This shaded area, this whole shaded area, we call it a segment. Right. Furthermore, we have another part, like what I told you, this one from this point to this point, we call it radius. And also I'm gonna draw another radius from this point to this point. Like what I told you, any line from circumference to the center, we call it radius. So I can write, I can draw another radius so that you can understand what I want to explain. So once I draw this radius, we have this area that I'm going to shade. So this shaded area, we call it a sector. So for today, we're gonna end here, and then we're gonna proceed tomorrow from there. Thank you.